Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm David Schuster. The president's economic plan is now moving towards final passage. We will get to that in a moment, but first, the public disgust and frustration over the state of our economy spewed out today in dramatic fashion when CEOs of bailed-out banks testified before the House Financial Services Committee. Together, the banks represented at the table received $165 billion in federal bailout money, and lawmakers hammered the CEOs over everything from their inability to explain where much of the money went to bonuses that were given to executives. The hearing was jolted even before it began by a front-page story this morning in the New York Daily News. The report revealed that executives from the now-defunct Merrill Lynch pocketed $121 million in bonuses just days before taxpayers helped finance a deal to buy out the collapsing firm. At the hearing, lawmakers hit all of the CEOs hard.
And I can understand paying bonuses for outstanding performance, for building jobs, growing the economy. But how can you justify paying bonuses to managers that were running their company into the ground?
We had no authority to tell them what to do, just urge them what to do.
You've got bonuses over time. If in good times you were told you weren't going to get a bonus, what part of your job would you not do?
We love what we do. If you gave me no bonus in the best year, I would still be here.
So I will not bill you for my services as an efficiency consultant.
Why does it appear to the general public that all the finest minds in finance missed the most obvious, this disaster, if you will? Well, I don't want you to stampede now and wanting to answer that question.
Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Republican Congressman from Florida, Adam Putnam. Representative Putnam sits on the House Financial Services Committee. He was at the hearing today. And Congressman, what did you accomplish today?
Well, I was on a plane back from Florida, but I was able to monitor what happened in that hearing, and what you saw was just a taste of the frustration that members of Congress are hearing from their constituents about the despicable misuse of investors' money and now what is taxpayers' money by these firms who are refurbishing their offices at $1 million a clip and are taking out performance bonuses for poor performance and, as my colleague said, for driving their companies into the ground. It is the kind of abuse of the public trust and abuse of investors' dollars that is undermining the support for any other discussion about economic recovery plans.
Well, I think a lot of the public is absolutely with the committee today and all of you for raking these guys over the coals and essentially forcing them to humiliate themselves and offer their apologies. But then what? I mean, to what end does this hearing take you?
Well, where it should take us is finding a way to get the money back. It's not enough for public humiliation. That's just playing to the cameras. If we're really going to do something, if we're really going to do this thing the right way, we need to find a way to make sure that there will be no performance bonuses for firms that are taking TARP money, and for firms that misstated their books or deliberately misled their investors through shuffling papers and falsifying records. We need to be able to go after that compensation and after those performance bonuses that were ill-gotten gains.
I want to play for you one of the more intriguing sound bites of the hearing. This is Representative Capuano. Watch this.
But basically, you come to us today on your bicycles after buying Girl Scout cookies and helping out Mother Teresa, telling us we're sorry, we didn't mean it, we won't do it again, trust us. Well, I have some people in my constituency that actually robbed some of your banks. And they say the same thing. The problem I have is that, honestly, none of us, America doesn't trust you anymore.
Congressman, do you trust these CEOs? In other words, would you, on the specific proposal, for example, to cap CEO pay, do you think that's a wise idea now based on everything that has come out in this whole story?
You know, I'm a perfect guy to ask that question of, because I believe that markets should set salaries, and I had opposed that type of an approach before they came to Congress, before they came to the taxpayer and asked for these bailouts. Now, they absolutely ought to have their salaries cut because it's no longer a market decision. They are now taking taxpayer dollars. And so that free market, the competition among the banks no longer exists, and they're going to have to play by Congress's rules now. They're going to have to play by the public's rules now, and their behavior has seriously undermined public policymakers' confidence and the public's confidence in their ability to see us through this economic crisis.
Some of that behavior, as you know, involves, for example, continuing forward with a plan to essentially get a corporate jet after paying taxpayer money. The CEO of Citigroup has now recanted on that and apologized, but here was his explanation today. Watch.
And I take personal responsibility for that mistake. In the end, I canceled delivery. We need to do a better job of acknowledging and embracing the new realities. Let me be clear with the committee. I get the new reality, and I will make sure Citi gets it as well. And I've told my board of directors that my salary should be $1 per year with no bonus until we return to profitability.
Congressman, you satisfied with the pound of flesh that you got out of that?
The new reality should be new personnel in leadership positions in these firms, and not just the CEOs, but the boards as well. Now, there needs to be a thoughtful way of changing the deckhands, because clearly we don't need to have a mass firing in the middle of an economic crisis. But the bottom line is, the real way to get their attention is to get new personnel in at the helm of the financial ship of state.
Congressman Adam Putnam, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
As we said, Merrill Lynch has become the biggest target of public disgust following revelations that executive bonuses were doled out even as the firm was collapsing. Just days before Merrill Lynch was bought by Bank of America with the help of $45 billion in taxpayer money, that's $45 billion with a B, the company handed out $3.6 billion in bonuses.